Okay, another spraying video here. It's going to be a little bit loud because we have a lot of traffic coming by on the street, and I have a lot of scenes to do, so I won't talk too much about most of these, but I was just going through my stack of scenes, and I realized that I had a lot more than I thought that were unsprayed, so I like to seal off all my pieces generally. Alright. This is the first spraying video. It's usually about a foot apart, a foot away from the, your pieces in terms of your spraying technique. This will be a Krylon UV resistant clear, but any type of those art sprays or art sealants or workable fixatives would work pretty well. Just a matter of whether you like the clear, kind of more glossy style of spray, or the more matte style, which is more of the workable fixative types of acrylic sprays. Alright, I'm not going to talk about too much of this, but, just in this first piece I'll talk about a little bit, but you can see in here, I hope, well, I don't know if you can tell, but the saturation of this blue and black over here is much more extreme than over here, okay? It's so much glare here, but I don't know if you can tell, but this side here is darker than this side, and it's because the spraying of it has kind of reinvigorated the depth and saturation of kind of the appearance of a freshly stamped piece by spraying it, okay? Alright, so there you have it. Quite a different looking piece in general in terms of the contrast and intensity of the colors here. Now I'm going to try to avoid spraying too much in here because I have a lot of the white pigment ink applied in a very thin layer, and kind of similar to a like pastels and chalks, if you spray it too much you'll kind of lose all of that, those types of effects. It just kind of disappears. Alright, I'm just going to go over this really quickly because I have a lot of scenes to do, not just these ones that are kind of laid out here. I'll just kind of do them in batches. I was really surprised at the number of pieces that hadn't been sprayed. I usually build up, like, I don't know, I thought I was doing building up I don't know, groups of 20 or so, then I would kind of get around to spraying them, but I don't know. It's like I suddenly found like 75 or something like that that hadn't been touched. These were from a couple lessons that I did, I don't know, quite some time ago, but kind of more of the sketchbook style of stamping, just doing the individual elements kind of in a white background. I really like that look, and I'm going to have to do that more. A couple of the big Seaside Cove pieces here. There's a kind of a graphite one right here on matte paper. Also benefits from spraying. Not that I want it glossy. You could get it glossy though, but it's just to kind of seal off that graphite down there. Looks like just on the back of a glossy piece of paper. Alright, now I'll allow this to dry for about maybe 30 seconds or so, and then I'll put another batch down. But some much more extreme saturations. The pieces tend to look a little bit more jewel-like in that they're the depth of color is just so much more extreme this way, and the underlayers of the tone really come out when you spray them that way. All right, now this is on glossy cardstock, of course. If you haven't seen me do some of these scenes before, not everything's on glossy, but the benefit of the multi-layered tones really come into full play visually after you do spray them. So it's just like kind of like staining wood or something like that. You know, the depth of the wood and the grain comes out much more extreme when you do that, something like that in stains. So kind of a similar type of thing when you're talking about layered, transparent colors. All right, quite a few cards here. With some of these, it's somewhat of a, I wouldn't call it a subtle change, but with some of them, the change is a little bit more extreme. It's almost taken from like night and day in terms of kind of visual interest when you kind of extend the both the intensity and contrast range up, you know, several notches. It can be quite a transformative kind of effect of spraying. I have so many cards out, I have to kind of brace myself here to reach them. Let's do this one right here. You can see, oops. You can see that difference between that top part and the bottom part, and just in terms of the saturation, okay? Now let's spray the bottom portion of it. You see the bottom portion kind of matches the top portion after being sprayed there. Maybe try to get this glare out of here. Okay. Well, okay, there it goes. Look how deep and just visually rich that is. This one's a metallic ink. I mean, a metallic paper that I stamped that one on. Some of the things I almost couldn't even tell if I had sprayed it or not. But some it's quite apparent. Alright, that one was completely changed, transformed. I'm starting to get a little bit of globbing here. I think that spray is kind of overspraying. I gotta make sure that this is kind of spraying, you know, straight through. But look at this one. This is a monochromatic piece, but there's several different layers of blue in here. But look how beautiful and deep and rich those blues are on that one. It looked okay unsprayed, but I don't know. Just spraying it really. It's almost like adding, you know, 2 or 3 more colors of blue, you know, different shades of it. Sometimes, with some ink and some ink paper combinations, it never really fades, you know, upon drying, so, you know, the change isn't going to be that extreme, but these days with most paper ink combinations, there is some degree of it doesn't actually fade, it just dries dull, but the intensity is still there. You just have to bring it back with something like this. Okay, there's lots of other types of things you can do that are not sprays that you can kind of rub on, and you know, you'll know more about those than I do, but or if you know about those, you know, please put a comment in the comments section, you know, that so that people can get some good informed decisions or choices, which is not me talking about it. I just use sprays. spraying a little off. Okay, I'm getting some blobs here again, but that's alright. On these ones with these delicate rays, I'm going to be careful not to spray over that too much. We'll hit it from distance a little bit, but that's it. Here has this little crying moon from this Leavenworth Jackson. Always cracks me up. I always do that moon crying into like a lake or something like that. I carry down the dots with the tears with a additional gel pen touches. But that kind of touch of that kind of more whimsical element of a moon with a face on it kind of really changes the spirit of a scene. Alright, a little blobby on a couple of these things where it's kind of dripping off my tip here, but overall a definite improvement in terms of the kind of the end result of the scenes here. So anyways, I'm going to scan these and put all these scenes into a slideshow, and I have an idea for some of these scenes coming up in the form of some giveaways, so I don't know, stay tuned for that. And anyways, the benefits of spray sealing. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions on spray sealants or whatnot and different types of media, you can check out our materials FAQ, frequently asked questions, in our information section on the Stampscapes website.